What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ango Show Live. It is September 20th, 2025. And Wrestle Palooza just got off the air. And I figured we'd talk about it. I don't know how long we're going to be live, but of course, I'm going to be interacting with you guys. If you guys like this stream, make sure you guys click like. We are live only on YouTube. But I felt like we should kind of talk. We should kind of talk about the show. Because I genuinely enjoyed my experience watching the show. There was things I definitely enjoyed about the show, but there was one thing that I'm going to be pretty critical of, and I will definitely touch on that. But listen, man, today was a good day for professional wrestling. I'm just going to shoot straight with you. If you look at what we got today with AEW, if you look at what we got with WWE, I thought we got two really strong shows. Not only very strong shows, but I felt like the right booking, the right decisions were made across both AEW and WWE. But for the time being with me being live, I'm going to talk to you guys strictly about Wrestle Palooza. I'll make a video or something talking about All Out. We'll get to that. But dude, I genuinely enjoyed Wrestle Palooza. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I thought Wrestle Palooza was very well booked. I think it's really hard to sit here and try to lie to you guys and tell you that it wasn't like a fun, exciting show, because it was. I think my issue that I had with Wrestle Palooza stems from Triple H. And I warned you guys. I told you guys this in video form. Triple H telling us that there's going to be big surprises. That's the part that I did not like. To me, watching Wrestle Palooza was fun. It was a fun show. It was good booking and good matches. But the only surprises that I saw, if you want to call them surprises, was Pat McAfee returning for commentary, which, by the way, he didn't even do the entire night. And then Stephanie Vaquer winning the belt. I mean, I don't know if I would classify that as a surprise. Very good decision, by the way, but I don't know if I would classify that as a surprise. And then the only other thing I could think of was Stephanie McMahon getting inducted to the Hall of Fame, which was a very nice surprise. But where was the actual surprises? That's the problem I have with Wrestle Palooza. Because Wrestle Palooza was a great show, but you're hyping this up as a new era. You're hyping this up as you never know what you're going to get. This is the future of sports and entertainment. To me, it just seemed like words. I don't think the actions of the show truly presented itself in a different light. And personally speaking, I have a problem with that. To me, this was a huge thing I used to criticize Tony Khan with AEW. And I feel like Triple H and Tony Khan do this promoter thing where you're like overhyping stuff. And I don't know. I think that's the problem that I have with Wrestle Palooza. You know what I mean? Like, The Undertaker coming out and inducting Stephanie McMahon was a cool moment and it was fun and it's nice, but what does that do to truly make the event feel like this is a game-changing event? So that's the problem that I had with the show. There's nothing else I had a problem with. I did not have any issue with the booking. And we'll talk about that. Brock Lesnar and John Cena opened up the show. Brock destroyed him. I mean, if you look at John Cena's retirement tour, it's essentially been paying homage to his greatest feuds. John Cena got his ass smoked by Brock Lesnar. I mean, if you guys literally tuned into this pay-per-view thinking it was going to be any different, that's probably your fault. Because I genuinely didn't feel like they were going to give us anything more than that. So I expected that. I was fine with that. The Usos versus The Vision was a phenomenal match. Really awesome match. Loved it. I genuinely enjoyed that match. That was very fun to watch. And LA Knight being special guest referee was a great element to the match. That was throwing me off a little bit. I didn't know what to expect, but I feel like they're kind of setting the wheels in motion for his heel turn. But that was awesome. Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer was incredible. I truly enjoyed that. That was a very fun match to watch. WWE actually gave them time to wrestle, which I was super excited about. And I was very, very happy with the fact that WWE allowed those two women to go out there. No bullshit ass booking, no DQ or non-finish or some bullshit. Like, to me personally, I loved that match. Then what I saw in addition to that was AJ Lee and CM Punk versus Seth and Becky, which people are going to have their own opinions on that match, but that was fun to watch. That was a very fun match to watch. Like, I did not expect it to be that fun. Between all the shenanigans between Seth and Becky, and then also kind of jumping into the mix of things where you're kind of teasing intergender wrestling. Like, that was a very fun match. Cody and Drew McIntyre, very fun match. I like the fact that as I watched the pay-per-view, it was not 6 hours long. I felt like it was relatively easy to get through, relatively easy to digest. It was a strong pay-per-view. But when Triple H comes out and there's all these teases and teases and teases, then where the fuck's the surprise? That's the issue that I have. That's the issue I have. And by the way, I told you guys in video format, check the recent uploads if you haven't been watching. But I literally said, if they do not deliver big surprises like they're talking about, it's all hype. And I'm not going to be thrilled about it. Do I feel cheated? No. Did I enjoy the show thoroughly? 100%. But I'm very disappointed in that. Very disappointed in that. So, as a wrestling fan, I was happy today because, as I stated earlier, I was very, very happy with the fact that we had very, very good stuff. Very good stuff between both companies, to be honest. But I thought both companies delivered very strong shows, which is cool. I mean, that's what you want, right? We'll talk more in depth about it. We got some stuff, some shout outs. Miles Roberson, VIP member for 28 months. Stephanie and Io killed it. AJ Lee totally hasn't lost a beat. So glad she won. Dude, AJ Lee did not lose a beat at all, man. AJ Lee was killing it. She was good. She was good. But the match was well produced as well. The idea of her, when you look at Becky and Seth kind of toying around with the tagging in and out, preventing AJ Lee, like, they were getting you worked up for her. When CM Punk blows the kiss to Becky Lynch and then tags in AJ Lee, like, massive, massive pop. Dude, that was good. That was like some really good shit. to be honest. Like I was very, very happy about that. I thought they did a phenomenal job doing that. And the finish was really good. So yeah, dude, I totally get it. Shout out to Miles for the membership. Phil, being a pro member for 14 months, the mixed tag killed it. Welcome back, AJ Lee. I think that's the sentiment that I'm starting to get. Because I as I look on social media, even as I text my friends, and overall, people are very happy with AJ Lee, which to be honest, like, I think that was good, man. I thought that was strong. I genuinely felt like that was strong. A strong performance. The crowd, the people, I think everybody kind of looked at AJ Lee as like a big question mark. How does she fit in today's WWE? And let's be honest, let's call it what it is, right? Like, people aren't going to talk about this, but AJ Lee was always a good wrestler. But she was a great wrestler in a time where women's wrestling wasn't great. So a lot of people were curious, okay, well, how is she going to perform when the wrestling industry has completely evolved into something so much bigger? You know? So AJ and Becky and Seth and you know, and Punk, they went out there and they really killed it. It was very fun. Very, very fun match, and it was a lengthy match. And when you give us a lengthy match like that and a fun match like that, you are essentially, you could kind of tell that all four people in the match are having a good time, and it's radiating through the crowd and through the screen. So you're in turn mostly enjoying it. And the best part about it is having Becky tap out is it's very clear AJ Lee and Becky continues, and AJ Lee going for the Intercontinental Championship would be a very fun story. Phil follows that up with the super chat for $4.99. He says, with Cody and Drew closing, everyone figured something big would go down after the match. Instead, nothing. Solid match, but a flat ending. It's not a flat ending. The problem is this is the result of us being really fun with fantasy booking and reading into things too much. But it was a very good match. It's just, you know, I think we're part of the problem for sure. I mean, I sat there, I posted a video on TikTok and Twitter and YouTube, a short video where I said, hey, Drew McIntyre beating Cody. It's The Rock helping him win. It's the way to, you know, spin the wheels in motion and accelerating WWE on ESPN into something bigger and better. You know, it's like, I'm not the only one with theories. Everybody has theories. And I think sometimes we come up with these theories that sound so damn good, and then the problem is it doesn't end up happening, and then people get disappointed. And that's, I've talked about this a lot on YouTube, but I feel like a lot of people tend to not realize when that happens, you have to take a step back and realize it's just theories and fun fantasy booking. You know, that's why I never really get too mad when my fantasy booking doesn't happen. I enjoy coming up with ideas and getting people's reactions, but the point of that main event was to show the world, especially new viewers, that Cody Rhodes truly is quarterback one. Yeah. In order for that to happen, you need to have a very, very skilled person. Drew McIntyre as that guy. And by the way, Phil, I understand where you're coming from, but I also see people who are dead ass pissed off because Randy Orton didn't come out and turn on Cody. You know what I mean? That wouldn't have been the way to end Wrestle Palooza. It would be fun, but you have to remember this is it's like the Netflix debut episode. You're not booking for the hardcore audience. And in a way, WWE kind of did, right? With EO losing the belt. But you see what I'm saying? Like they're trying to show the world that Cody is their guy. But shout out to Phil for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. We did get another super chat. Let me see. The Tank dropped $1.99. You must have watched a different match. That wasn't good. I don't know what match you're referring to. But yeah, that's if you're referring to the tag team match. Listen, I'm gonna just shoot straight with you guys. Part of the thing that sucks about reviewing shows is that you guys look at wrestling differently than how I look at wrestling. So what you guys enjoy and what I enjoy could be two different things. Some people like hip hop music, some people like dance music. You know what I mean? It's like You can't convince somebody else to like something else if that's not their interest. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for sure. So me personally, dude, I didn't have a complaint about that. I really didn't. I genuinely enjoyed the matches that we got. But if you're talking about the AJ Lee match, I 1,000,000% enjoyed it. But I also didn't have high expectations for the match. To be honest with you, I was not really like, yeah, of course you get excited about the idea of AJ Lee coming back, but I did not get excited because, oh my God, I think this is going to be a great match. No, it ended up being a great match. That's just my opinion, though. But I do appreciate your super chat, man. Shout out to the tank for the $1.99. Ango, you are not going to get hired by WWE. Brother, they couldn't pay me enough to join. It's 2025. We're going into 2026. If I wanted a job at WWE, I would go on Indeed.com, submit my resume, accept an interview, and accept a job. Not in my interest. T Junior says both shows I enjoyed the same close comparison. Dude, there was things that happened in both shows that I thoroughly enjoyed. Honestly. I mean, I'm just being real. Like, there was just things I enjoyed in both shows. You guys don't realize I'm the easiest fucking wrestling fan that exists in this world. It ain't hard to please Ango. I feel like, but with the way it seems like with people in the community, I think people don't realize, like, for me personally, man, you ain't got to do much. Tell me a story, make logical sense out of it, keep me hooked in. That's it. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. That's literally all you got to do. It doesn't take much to satisfy me as a viewer. I don't watch wrestling like these hardcore fans do. Micro-analyzing every move and every little thing about it. It just has to be logical. It just has to make sense. And I think both AEW and WWE did a good job of that. There was things in AEW I didn't like today. There was things I didn't like about WWE. That's just naturally how it's going to happen. But I enjoyed it, man. Because I'm actually not afraid to be a fucking fan of wrestling. You know, to actually sit back and relax and enjoy it. So for me personally, it was such an easy day. It was like, damn. Like, I'll be honest, if you guys watch professional wrestling the way I do, you'd probably enjoy it a lot more. You'd probably be less miserable because there are definitely people out here who are like, oh, Brock Lesnar and John Cena, they wasted John Cena's opponent on Brock Lesnar. Brother, have you not been watching John Cena's retirement tour? Every fucking match that he's had has been some sort of homage to his past. Like, I don't know. Him going up against Brock Lesnar, what'd you guys expect? Brock Lesnar to pull out a shooting star press like it was back in the day? You know what I mean? Like, were you guys expecting Brock Lesnar to go in there and fucking do Canadian destroyers? No, man. You know a Brock Lesnar and John Cena match if you've seen one. You know? So to me personally, it's like, it is what it is. Do I personally think Brock and Cena should have been the match? No. But it wasn't fucking terrible. It would have probably actually been terrible if John Cena would have won. Just because if you know their history, you know how it is. You know what I mean? So to me, it was very easy to watch both shows. All Out was a very long show. There was things on All Out I didn't care about, but in the grand scheme of things, I knew I wasn't going to care about it to begin with. The things I knew I was going to care about, I ended up caring about and enjoyed. So the same thing is applied to Wrestle Palooza. Like, I was very, very excited to see Stephanie and Io. You know? But I think, low-key, what I'm starting to feel in my heart when it comes to wrestling is potentially less reviews of wrestling. Because I tend to notice that when you watch wrestling and you're a content creator on wrestling, There's a lot of people who genuinely they don't want you to have your own opinion. It's pretty evident when you look at how YouTube and everything is. You know. Like, I don't know, I think it's pretty obvious. It probably has a lot to do with the fact that, like, WWE and AEW have shown you what kind of companies they are. They're not going to change. So my reviews are starting to sound very similar in the last several years. You know, people want to hate on Wrestle Palooza even before it started. And just like people want to hate on AEW All Out. But if you actually watch the shows, dude, there's some very solid stuff. Miles Roberson dropped a $2 super chat. It's time for AJ to acquire gold from Becky. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that's a big storyline that they can do. Now, is it going to be drawn out? I don't know. That's my fear. I don't want them to I don't want them to draw it out. I don't want them to draw it out too long. But it probably will be. But AJ Lee winning a singles belt would make sense. And it's the perfect person to take the belt off of Becky. And then when you're ready, Roxanne Perez and AJ Lee feud for the IC title. I mean, I would get excited about that. So, to me, I'm with it, bro. I'm with it. I could see a long-term vision there that would satisfy me. You know? And that's for the IC title as well. What I'm curious about is to see... Shout out to Miles, by the way, for that super chat. Thank you. What I'm curious to see is just how WWE moves forward after this pay-per-view. You know what I mean? I want to see how they move forward with this after this pay-per-view, because that's going to be important. WWE and AEW can give you great pay-per-views, but to give you a good weekly television show is more important. So, as long as you don't really insult my intelligence, I don't really give a fuck about anything else. You know? Like, personally speaking, I feel like it's been good stuff across the board. I see some people complaining in the chat about factors outside of the show. Why? I don't get it. To go into a YouTube chat and complain about things that have nothing to do with the show that we're talking about. But hey, maybe you guys think I would do work for WWE and maybe I could facilitate change. Chester says, I did hear a rumor about Gunther coming back soon. Yeah. I'm intrigued by that. I'm intrigued by Gunther. I'm curious if they run back to Gunther. I'm pretty sure Gunther and Lesnar is in the cards. Gunther and Cena's in the cards. Faye says, it's your fault, people. I don't get too excited when they never know teases for a major return or even a major surprise. You take everything with a grain of salt, and I'm pretty sure you heard. Yeah, I mean, dude, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. The dirt sheets are not my Bible, my friends. You know what I mean? But here's the good news. The good news is this. Nobody's forcing you guys to have a subscription. So no no what's the word I'm looking for? Nobody's forcing you to watch the pay-per-views. Nobody's forcing you to have a subscription. So I don't know. If you're constantly watching something that's disappointing you, I would put your money where your mouth is and just not pay for it and not watch. DRECTube dropping a $5 super chat. People need to get over Saudi. Every business in the U.S. does business with Saudi now. I don't think people genuinely have a problem with it, though, because they're still watching and they're still like paying to watch it. So, I mean, the truth is, when you look at their partnership, it has come a long way. You know what I mean? The partnership has definitely come a long way. So, I think the thing is, again, you just have people complaining about things to complain about things. You know? And pay attention to that. Pay attention to the people that complain about things and then still watch. Like Jersey Guy, for example, says, hey, I got it for free because the VPN is the way to go. So you got a VPN and you're watching it. You're still watching it. If you're not enjoying it, regardless if you're giving them their money or not, you're still watching it and you're still talking about it. That's not really productive. And that's the thing, right? You had a lot of people who were outraged about Brock Lesnar, but then these are the same people tweeting about watching the show and watching Brock Lesnar. So at the end of the day, did they really get mad at WWE for bringing back Brock Lesnar? Because if you were that strong about it, you probably wouldn't have watched it or tweeted about it. But the truth is, you do, because you don't genuinely get mad about Brock Lesnar being on there. And that's why it's no longer fun interacting with those kinds of people. Like, I don't know. If you're going to be upset about it, be upset about it. You have the right to be upset about it, but why keep watching it or anything like that? But I talked about this the other day. This is why I don't really tweet about wrestling anymore, because I enjoyed both shows, man. People are trying to force me to pick one over the other. That's not fun. So I enjoyed both. That's what's fun about wrestling. I thought both shows really delivered, man. Like, it was genuinely a fun day for wrestling. But I'm not going to hide behind my criticism for Triple H. You promised big surprises. We didn't get them. Now, I don't know what the fuck I was expecting, but you just didn't give me big surprises. Paul Heyman being aligned with Brock is not a big surprise. Just things like that. It's like, okay, you kind of fucked up by not doing that. But was it still a good show? Yeah. Did I still enjoy the show without those big surprises? Yeah, I did. So am I going to throw a hissy fit? Nah. I'm not going to do that. I genuinely enjoyed watching that Usos match. Like, dead ass. I really enjoyed that shit. I really enjoyed watching the women's match and the mixed tag match. I thought those all over delivered, honestly. So I'm going to keep it at that, man. I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. That's how I felt. I enjoyed it. As far as AEW All Out goes, awesome show as well. I'll make a more detailed video on that because that was a longer show. But genuinely speaking, I thought today was a fun day for professional wrestling. Like, I genuinely enjoyed watching professional wrestling today. There was some really, really good moments throughout the day. And so, as a wrestling fan, that's all I could really ask for. And I'm good with that. I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to keep it easy, simple, clean, nice and short, over 30 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys stopping by. AEW All Out, Wrestle Palooza, big thumbs up from your boy Ango. Good stuff to Tony Khan and Triple H, putting on some great shows. Really dope. Really, really dope. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Shout out to everybody who dropped super chats, extending their memberships. We'll be back with more wrestling news tomorrow as well. Trust me, there's going to be a lot. And yeah, appreciate y'all, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow.